This is just another follow-up video on finishing up my Meteor 75 videos, and there were some little things in the first video that weren't exactly right. I wanted to clear those up. Number one, we all know when you first get them, you got to go as the first thing you do. This is what's required: VERSION version. There was some confusion here. This says it's got a F411 flight controller in it. This says it's got an F411RX flight controller in it. So if you were going to flash it back to the way it was coming out of the box, you need this information. You can flash it to ways that it didn't come out of the box. But probably we all know that if you come in here, they have the Betaflight 411 and 411 RX version. Personally, I would start with the RX version. If that doesn't work, try the 411 version. But in my humble opinion, and most of us I think will agree, any of these, like this one right here, right down below it, well, no, that would be different. I can see it now. This might be the way you flash one that's not a no RX board. This may be what you use on the no RX board. This you use on the Free Skies and the Futabas. This you use on the Crossfires you buy. Just like here's a Blade F7 here. Here's the F7 HD. Now I bet you dollars to donuts that has to do with the HD camera that's in the Blade 7 HD, and the regular Blade doesn't have an HD camera in it. So this has little extra things in for that HD camera. So they're all probably very close to the same. So try one and the other. When I looked up these boards on the internet, they kind of point more to the RX. That may be because I have the no RX version. So be careful about that. Let's see, what else did I state in that first video? Oh yeah, as it says right here, you got to back up in the store right here, but we all know that doesn't work. I think it physically works, it just doesn't back up everything that's needed. Like it says right here, back up your configuration in case of an accident. CLI settings are not included. Use the command diff all in CLI for this. I just set a diff, and I did do a diff. If we go back, we come down here, you need to do a diff all to go back to out of the box. DIFF space all instead of just straight diff. And the reason for that, I think, is because you get your rate profiles and stuff, your profiles right here. If you just do a straight diff, you don't get, well, there it is. I am getting my rate profile 0. So I got profile 0, rate profile 0, and I did change, I did put some expo on those channels. And if you do a diff all, you do get the, those are the rate profiles I'm not using, so I don't think it would matter. And this sets rate profile 0. Just going to have to be careful here. Let me restore. I'll restore my diff I did out of the box. This was the diff I did out of the box. Execute. Okay, now my quad is exactly like it was out of the box. Exactly. The ports are still configured like they were. Configuration, got my D-shot, got my CRSF protocol in here, got power, got PID values, 42, 85, 35, 23. I do have my expo here, all my receiver channels. This is 12, still work as I set them up. Here's my modes I set up. I even made changes today in my OSD to add some things in. So this is exactly like mine came out of the box. Actually, that's what I made today. Anyway, so do the diff all. Really want to do the diff all. And it's as simple as DIFF space ALL. Then you go in here. I click right here at the bottom, and then I go up till I find my board name. Right here is where I go to when I save it, because you don't want this no save option. You want it to save. So right there I have everything there selected. I want to save that to a file. Come on. And I called that Meteor 75 text when I did that. Right now I do want to go back in and get all my stuff from today in. So I'm going to go with the one 727 I created just a few minutes ago. I'll need to go down to right here, scrape this stuff out of the top and hit delete, because if that's in there it doesn't work, we all know. Start with the board name and then execute. Now I'm back exactly like I was earlier. Everything is in here, period. If you brick up your board, have to blow it all back, whatever. Let's say you have to blow it all back. So you do a reset. Now everything is gone. And I mean everything. You can't do anything with this. This is a blank flight controller. If you come into ports, no ports are set up. If you come into configuration, your ESCs are not configured. Your receiver's not configured. All sorts of stuff down here is not configured. Your battery sensing's not configured. PID tuning is basically not there. You certainly don't have the expo that I put in. The receiver, it don't even have aux 12. It's only got aux 1 through 4 and your 4 main channels, 8 channels. It's because the RC receiver is not set up properly. There's nothing set up in the modes. Motors, everything is just screwed up. If you do that diff, as they say, it's so easy to come in here and say load from file. I'm going to load this back real quick. This was my original. I'm going to click execute on it. Just that quick. I'm back to the way it came out of the box. You can see here again, ports are configured. In configuration, my ESCs are configured. My gyros are configured. See, the gyros it wasn't even told it had gyros when you do a reset. Receivers configured. Power, using the onboard analog to digital converter for power measurements. That's all in there. My rate profiles won't be in here for my expo, because this is the way it came out of the box. But as you can see, aux 8, 1 through 8 plus the main 4. I've got 12 channels of RC working. Motors, they're set up. OSD is set up. So that's right back, and one of the reasons I did this is my last aside. This is the way it came out of the box. And see, this user one, I cannot find information about this user one. I spent 2 or 3 hours last night looking up most of this stuff, and I found almost everything, and I'll do a little bit of another video on the other stuff I found. I just can't find out what this user one on aux 4 is. And you see they set up their arm on 1, their modes on 2, their turtle mode on 3, and this user 1 aux 4 out of the box, which I still can't find out what the hell that is, on 4. If I restore what I had done, load from file, this has all my changes in it. You will see that I guess I did use 1 and 2. 3 was for the beeper, which I found out. I'll do a video on this. This is useless. Doesn't have a beeper on it. This does work. I haven't got turtle mode to work yet. I am using the pre-arm on aux 8. That does work. Again, this aux 4, I'm about ready to click right here, delete, because I can't find anything on it. But all that came back, and I'm sure right now in receiver or PID tuning, we're going to find my Expo is back because of that diff I reinstalled just a second ago. So I hope that clears up the things that I had misspoke in a video. We usually use the word diff when we're talking about any diff, a diff all, a diff, a straight diff. They're diffs to all of us. But make a habit to do the diff all so you can pick up the profiles. As it says right here, CLI settings are not included. CLI settings are all the changes we make after the flight controller is put in. We tell it what kind of ESCs and all that stuff. In this case, these were set up at the factory and sent by BetaFPV. So diff all instead of just diff, and when you're doing the version, be careful of the F411 versus the F411RX. There's still some confusion there. And then I added in a little bit of how to use diffs and how easy it is to put your stuff. Again, it's just so simple. Here's an unusable flight controller straight out of the box. I'm not timing this for seconds, but this is how quick you can put it right back from no flight controller is totally useless, it's not configured at all, to a working flight controller. Less than 10 seconds. I'm right back to where I was, provable by the fact that my Expo settings are still there. By the way, I might raise this up a little. That's still a little tweaky on me. All right, guys, hope that helped.